So we'll get started in just a minute. And you've already told me there's nothing I can't ask you.
That's right.
And so I do want to find out, I didn't do this, but I want to find out, but when you changed your name from Tammy to Tanya Tucker, that's just got to be a great, oh, we're rolling. Good evening, welcome to the show. I'm Clint Black, and tonight I am talking in circles with Country Music Hall of Famer Tanya Tucker.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm so happy you're here.
Talking in circles is my kind of deal.
You were never named Tammy Tucker.
No. No. At some point, you know, after we moved to Henderson, Nevada, right outside of Las Vegas, because my dad figured that's the entertainment capital, and get started there. We were broke. I mean, you know, we're eating out of the yellow boxes and stuff, you know. And
what does that mean?
Free food or something from the government or something?
Oh.
Oh, okay. He went to this guy and took, I guess, I don't know if I was there, if he took some tapes. And he said, you know what? We want to sign her. We want to sign your daughter. And he wrote out a check for $50,000. And you're talking about poor people here. And he said, here's a check for $50,000 for your daughter to manage her. He said, but there's one stipulation, no daddy. My mother's sitting right behind him. You know, he gave my dad the check, and my dad looked at it, and he just went. He wanted to call me Tammy Tucker. That was the other stipulation.
That's $60,000 in
Tammy
my book.
Wynette. That's right. Tammy Wynette, you can't replace that. And some people have weird ideas.
Tammy Tucker's too close to Tummy Tucker.
Yeah, Tommy was my granddad.
Tucker.
Tommy Tucker was my granddad.
You're in the Country Music Hall of Fame now, where you belong.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I just can't believe it.
Yeah. You can say you don't believe it, but everyone else.
What's better than it's about time, you know?
Yeah.
That's not for me to say, but everyone, the first thing they say is, congratulations, you deserve this so much. And the second thing is, it's about time. It's, you know, it's been too long. You deserved it a long time ago. But that's not for me to say, you know. That's for them to say.
Yeah, we can say it.
But at least I got in there while I was living, you know.
So you have been called Female Elvis, or Felvis.
Oh, I like that one.
When was that? That wasn't when you were a kid. That
Elvis
was when
gave
you
me
were
that.
putting on the hot pants and wearing the satin or whatever you call it.
Well, what is that stuff that stretches every which way? Spandex.
Spandex.
Yeah, I was a spandex queen. Elvis, I wish I wore my Elvis ring now. But
did he give you a ring?
No, he didn't.
A TCB? No.
He didn't. Well, he tried to give me a TLC, but I mean a necklace. That's what he gives the girls.
TLC.
Yeah, tender loving care.
Oh.
But Tony Brown brought it to me, and I said, hell, if he's going to give it to me, tell him he needs to come give it to me himself if he's going to give me a gift. I was so cocky, you know.
Were you around
I wish
him?
the hell I'd taken it now, you know. Damn. Idiot.
Were you around him much?
No, but the thing is that Mama Mae Axton brought him to see me in Denver. And, of course, you know, he's up in the light booth. And Mama Mae said to him, what you think about this, and what do you think about this little girl? And he said, well, I think she's a female Elvis, what I think. So that's kind of where that came from.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the best coming from him.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, you know?
Yeah,
and,
I didn't know that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's where it originally came from, but they, you know, PR and all that stuff.
They ran with it.
Newspapers and things they write. And it was just, when I first started out, you know, I was like pretty stiff up there singing. But later on, when I came into my own, I don't know if you copied anybody, but I did. I copied Loretta, Lynn, Connie Smith. I took everything from Connie. I stole every lick I could steal from her. But somehow, it started coming out as me
As you,
differently. Yeah. And then when that started coming out, so did performing. And it's so hard for me. And I don't know how you do it. You stand up there and like, I'm all tuckered out. And it just, I mean, you move, but you don't across the stage.
No,
Remember Paso Robles?
I did that one show. My manager said, you know, if you go over there
No,
and
it's
do
not
something.
you. It's not
yeah,
you.
It's not.
It's
and,
not you.
and
But me,
Yeah.
I can't stand still. It was Paso Robles. Paso Robles, we played, me and you, but I counted them off at sound check, the steps, from center stage. And it was 180 steps. We went this way and this way. And it was packed, too. We had a lot of people there that night. And I went on your bus after the show. And after like 3 or 4 standing ovations, you know, and give them something to follow, you know.
It is hard to follow that. And, you know, that's...
Well, that's what I like to hear. Because remember that time when Hank Snow followed Elvis? He didn't want to do that no more.
No.
But you can do it.
But following you, I had to get out my spandex, and that helped to really get
You
going.
look great in spandex.
I saw where it was Mel Tillis who discovered you.
I
Is
don't
that
know,
true?
but
Is it?
No, that's not true.
No, it wasn't Mel?
No, I'll tell you where Mel came in. I was 8 years old, and I was in Wilcox, Arizona, and there's a county fair not far from there called Douglas County Fair. So my dad was working, which he did quite a bit, and my mother put me in the truck, and we went to the fair to see if I could get on stage with him. And so, you know, it's a racetrack deal, you know, and there's a station wagon parked down there on the racetrack, and one of them makeshift stages like we've all played. And my mother goes, go on down there and see what you can do. I mean, okay, I'll be right back. I went down there, and there's Mel Tillis, and he's got his nudie suit on, you know, sitting there. And it was in the afternoon, and I walked up, and I didn't remember what I had on. And I walked up to the window, and I said, excuse me, which one of you boys is Mel Tillis? and they all both...
He's the one wearing the $10,000
yeah.
suit.
They both went at each other. Of course, I knew who it was. And he said, what can we do for you? I said, well, I want to know how you get started in this business. I'm a singer, and I'd like to get started. And
8 years old.
yeah, I can't believe it either.
great.
And he said, can you sing? I said, well, my daddy says I can. He said, well, let's go back here behind the stage and let you sing me a song. So I said, okay, so here I go. And we went backstage, and I remember we was playing fiddle. You remember that boy that wore the really bad rug? And he was a great fiddle player.
Please, let's get his name right here tonight.
It was Tommy, I think. I remember it so like it was yesterday. And so they said, what key are you singing? I said, well, I don't know. I'm a singer, not a musician, you know. And so they figured it out. And I think I did, don't touch me if you don't love me, sweetheart. And you want to do both shows? And I went on that night and did a couple songs. And he asked me to come back for the night show in the evening. But my mother says, honey, we ain't got a spare tire in that truck. And if we have a breakdown on that road, it'd be bad. So we can't stay. And I mean, boy, Daddy's gonna be real mad at you, you know. But we had to leave. But that's where Mel came in. And then fast forward to Phoenix, 1969. Anyway, I was 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. So they were having a big package show.
Yeah.
Mel Tillis was on there, but there were several artists. So my dad goes in there to the office and to the promoter. And he says, look, I got a kid and sing here. Her name's Tanya Tucker, and I would love to see her get on this show. And the promoter is probably busy, and he's probably going like, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. And my dad said, well, wait a minute, I got to have $20 for her. And the promoter went, oh, okay, here's $20. And my dad left. So Meanwhile, my dad left me on Mel Tillis's bus with his band, and Mel since then had a couple of hit records, was pretty hot. And I'm watching all this go on, and then, of course, went on with the Statesiders, did a couple songs. And afterwards, first time I ever got mobbed was when I got done. Starting to leave, you just want to sign. Wow, this is cool, you know. The promoter ran out. I'm the only one that got paid that night. I mean, they all left without no money.
A bunch of amateurs.
I'm telling you. Mel Tucker, he had some, you know, what do you call them?
Yeah.
He had several of them.
Yeah.
He had a dream, he had a goal. He said, Tanya, he said, you don't have to be in love what you got to go through to get to your goal. But you have to be in love with your goal. And that's true. Because, you know, as you well know, we have done a lot of things we wouldn't want to do now, you know. But to get there, you got to do some of those things. But I was lucky because I had my dad. It's like me getting started early. You know, all of our buddies are so much older.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're 18 years old and your birthday comes around and you got Minnie Pearl and Ernest Tubb coming to my birthday, I'm thinking most kids would want, you know, whoever's popular at that time that's not country. Yeah. Ernest Tubb, that was so cool to me. And Minnie Pearl coming. And it wasn't just down the street. It was out in National City. You know, you had to go a little ways. And,
so what was that party like?
Oh, well, my dad,
you had to be
he messed up and built me a bar.
Back then, so what he...
No, it was Tuckahoe, and I bought my first ranch, and I had to go ask the judge for permission to buy it. My dad did, because, you know, that's the Jackie Coogan law.
Yeah.
The parents, you know, can't just spend any of the money they want to.
Yeah.
So we bought the place, and it's called Tuckahoe, okay? Tuckahoe. What's the chances of that? And my dad built me a custom, I don't know why he did this, but he built me a custom-made bar. What the hell was he thinking, you know?
He's thinking about drinking.
I'm thinking about drinking. You write that yet? Because I've been working on it. You did?
No.
I've been trying to write that song forever. I was trying to write for George Jones.
Let's write it. We'll write it.
I'm thinking about drinking again, you know. But he built that bar, and that was the first time I'd ever had a margarita. Well, I must have got some bad stuff because I was sick as a dog, and I wouldn't touch tequila for years.
It may have been good stuff. You just got too much
No,
of it.
I only had probably one drink. And now, years later, fast forward, I got my own tequila.
The good stuff.
Well, wait a minute. Costa Salvaje.
I was listening to San Antonio Stroll today.
Oh.
And I remember that coming on the radio. And
it was number
that
one.
was some great country music. But listening to it today just took me back. And,
wow, take me back, too.
I mean, just so fantastic. Such great country music.
So I didn't like that record. Well, I love the song, but I do it a lot better now. I didn't know the song Follow the Bouncing Ball.
Garrett produced that album. Yeah.
We produced that one album, and I thought we made it in 10 minutes. He's so quick. And he didn't even want me to show up at the basic tracks. You know, they all read in L.A. You know, they all read in the... And I said, well, what happens if it's in the wrong key? He said, I'll manipulate the tape a little bit. I said, well, no, I don't know. I can't spell the word manipulate. Can't hardly say it. But I didn't like to work like that. You know, it was culture shock for me. 2 number one records, though. Lizzie and the Rain Man and San Antonio Stroll. And I said, Daddy, I can't do it. I can't work like this. So my dad told him, he said, we're gonna take off. We appreciate everything. We're gonna move on out. Then MCA Records said, what are we gonna do with her now? They didn't know what to do with me. I was 16. And they said, well, who's gonna produce you now, Tanya? I said, well, whoever produced that record, please come to Boston. That's the boy I want to produce me. And that was Jerry Crutchfield. And so they got him. And then me and Jerry, we worked together for 13 albums. And some of the best music I think I've made was with him.
Yeah. So your mom said to you, don't let the world harden your heart. Did I get that right?
Yes, she said a lot of things to me, but she said, honey, don't let people don't harden your heart. She also said, I said to her, I asked her after I'd had a little success, because my dad, he would stop at nothing, you know. And we lived around different relatives, and they thought he was nuts. And I said, Mother, and you know, when I had kids, I'd look at my daughter, and she was 9 years old, and I go like, no, ain't no way. I would pack up everything and go to Nashville on $20 and stop at Six Flags to boot. You know, there's no way. So I asked her, I said, Mom, what made you follow? And, you know, she never said a word, silent. What made you follow this man?
Take a risk
risking
on
your,
that, yeah.
your his whole family's life, which her life,
Yeah.
for a 9-year-old kid. How did you maneuver through that? And it didn't take her a second. She said, Tanya, she said, your daddy believed in you, but I believed in him. There's your song.
Yeah.
It's true. And you know, there's a lot of great men that I've been around and that I've been interested in and interested in me, and maybe, you know, had a little fling or something, or enjoyed a few dates. But it hasn't worked out for me because I think someone said daddy syndrome. Well, you know, you show me a man that I think's good enough, and I'll marry him. You bring him home. I'm not afraid of marriage because my mother, they were married 67 years, and they got married at 15. And I don't recommend that. But I wanted the picket fence and all that stuff, but it didn't work out for me. You know, when I got pregnant with Presley, they had a meeting with the record label, my dad, and then, how are we going to handle this? Because the first thing was, who's the daddy, who's the daddy, who's the daddy? And it was a big thing. This is what I couldn't figure out. No, of course I would love to have been married and then had the baby, but it wasn't working out for me. So it didn't work out with the daddy. But don't they teach you, don't you play golf?
Did.
You play tennis.
It's very average.
Everything is follow through, right? Follow through. Start something, follow through. I just followed through. And just because I didn't have the ring on my finger or get married and give half of my stuff away, then my child's illegitimate. That shouldn't even be in the dictionary. No baby is illegitimate. My kids are all very legitimate, and they're probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. They're the best award of all.
Yeah. You've raised good kids.
Yeah, they're good.
Your focus was there.
My son is like, he's almost, I hate to say it, but too good, maybe. He don't drink, he don't smoke. He's the kind of kid that they would come over, the professionals would come over and ask him can Grayson go fishing with us today? Porter Wagner, little Jimmy, they'd all fish with him because he was great. And my dad spent a lot of time with him, and he knew how to drive everything on the farm. And I'm really proud of him. My other two, the daughters are hard, aren't they? They're hard, really hard.
No, I wouldn't say that. Mine's right over there.
I'd raise 6 more of my sons before I'd raise 1 more girl. I'm telling you, they're hard. Oh, man. My youngest daughter's got a record deal, and I try to tell her the same things my dad told me. But somehow they got through to me. Somehow.
You have to
put it like Hank Williams put it in there. Put some more feeling in that song.
You have to say it as a baritone.
Well,
say it in a lower voice.
Put more feeling in it.
You listen up.
But it don't come across it don't transfer to them like he transferred to me. And maybe it was my delivery. But
you know, they say with kids, you can say something to them 4 times and they didn't hear it, and then the next 6 times they heard it, but they weren't listening, and then after 10 times they're listening.
And you're dead, you know.
I have one question I ask all my guests. When you get to heaven, If you could sing a song with anyone who's already there, who would it be and what song would you sing?
Well, now that's not a fair question. The first thought was Elvis.
Elvis, what song?
I don't know, depending on if I was feeling frisky or not. I would say probably Heartbreak Hotel or Don't Cry Daddy, something like Kentucky Rain. I mean, that's not one answer, but
Jailhouse Rock?
Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Tanya Tucker.
Love you.